And spawning here in the bottom right, in the red for Kites of Gaming, he is Innovation. And his opponent in the upper left in the blue, representing the Shopify Rebellion, the former world champion, he is BYUN. Hey, look, it's Ilaros. I generally only see you on Twitch. This is why I made my Discord. So we can all be exposed to more powerful StarCraft action. And as much as I talked about this being double gas from both players, Innovation has opened gas first. So, well, it's going to be a bit of a stylistic mismatch here in this game number 1, which is always exciting. Although I guess I also very much enjoy the non-stylistic mismatches, right? When you do have two players that are going for the same build on the hopes that, and then we start to see variations. We start to see deviations, whether it's inefficiencies in play or slightly different ideas about how the game is played, or just different branches of the same build. And beyond for his part, I mean, this is again rather weird. So this is going to be a high ground command center here from Innovation, which makes sense, I guess, in the context of a double gas opener, which is standard. But man, this build is opening, this game is opening up really like Innovation and BYUN are practice partners, and they know what each other does a lot. So they're trying to fake each other out. You almost tried to use Twitch emotes, then you remembered, well, there are certainly, there's certainly Trovo emotes. So of course, now we do just have BYUN here. He's taking his position on the high ground, making sure that any sort of Reaper that finds its way from Innovation that BYUN will get the first shot. But this is 1-1 into a natural, which is standard. What is not standard is reactoring out your Reapers. But at the end of the day, this should still be 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion pressure. And just an interesting way to get there. Not from a build perspective. I mean, this is double gas into command center play, but the fact that the barracks and the factory are all sitting there on like the left-hand side of the map, not in the wall, nothing like that, is really weird. We saw Bunny do this in the last game too, where he didn't get a wall in TVZ. He just kind of put his buildings as close to his base as possible, I guess, to deny a scout. We're gonna I mean, honestly, I don't think that scout's gonna be denied all that much. His Innovation's gonna go on in. He's gonna say, okay, well, there's your stuff. I found it. Actually, he may even get a SCV kill here. And there we go. One SCV will go down to one Reaper, and that is massive there. Oh, is he going to get a second? Did he even get one? He did. Okay. Massive damage there for Innovation. Is now BYUN. He's going to try to do the same. Because he does have 3 Reapers. He does have 2 Hellions, but I think this has delayed the push from BYUN just enough that he's not going to get a lot done. Yeah, he's already heaping his Hellions at home. I mean, Alaros, you just hit the emote button in chat. You don't have to go and actually memorize the emote commands. So we do have the Reaper Hellion on the map here, and BYUN, he's going for kind of a climax push, right? Reaper, Hellion, Cyclone, Marine, Kitchen Sink, pretty much whatever he's got available to him on the map right now is going to find its way across the map here. So he's trying to put some pressure on Innovation. But I mean, Innovation is in a strong defensive setup right now. Yes, he doesn't have any tanks just yet, but he will. Right, his first tank is just about out. And with that being the case, I mean, I don't know how much damage this push is really going to get done. I mean, he's going to get a Hellion at the very least. That's going to be nice. And maybe he can line up some of these Marines. But now what this is really going to do is it's going to distract Innovation from the drop happening on in his main base. And that's actually the true utility of this. And this is the very least going to delay a command center. There we go. So command center gets delayed. How much more damage does this get? Now the Cyclone is going to lock onto a Marine, which I would like to see BYUN just pick up that and save it, but no, he's just going to get as much damage as he can. It looks like 3 or 4 workers, and then the, well, the medevac is going to get boosted on out of here, but 3 workers. Well, that equalizes the damage that he took earlier, and he delayed the command center for just a little bit. So yes, Innovation does have a CC lead, but it's not the end of the world. So anyway, second was that, wait, first or second Raven? Yeah, second Raven on the way here for BYUN. Second Raven on the way already, or done already for Innovation. So that means that even if both players do have 2 Reapers and they, or do have 2 Ravens, they do have that utility. Unless the Ravens max out on energy, Innovation will have that energy lead, which is going to make it mean that most likely he's going to be able to drop, say, a armor shredder missile or an extra disable or something that will allow him to take the fight. But it's kind of funny. The meta of Raven energy usage has changed significantly over the last period of time, right? It used to be that you would just go on in and disable the tanks and go from there. But now we see it's a lot more auto turret stuff. And this time, yeah, it will be a tank getting disabled here. Auto turrets are going to get dropped. And with the tank sieging on up here, the auto turrets should go down. There we go. So we have the siege up happening. But here's the thing. The auto turrets defended the tank. Right, that's the big deal. The tanks were defended. And that means that Innovation's still going to be fairly happy here with this hold. The tanks of BYUN are sieging on up as well. This does mean that BYUN can take his third base. Innovation did have a faster third command center, but BYUN's base is faster on location, and his upgrades are faster as well. Oh, that's an unfortunate move out there from Innovation. Now he's going to try to take the fight. Auto turret's going to get dropped on a bunch of Marines. That's not going to really be all that great for both sides. But what this has done, it is about time for the tanks to siege on up here. Vikings are going to land, and that is just going to be a pure break for Innovation. BYUN getting a little bit over aggressive. He will lose his entire army here on Innovation's side of the map, and that does mean that Innovation has a massive army supply lead, has a massive, really a tech lead at this point, as he did not lose that many more tanks, and BYUN did. So now Innovation's going to be able to move out on the map here. He has air dominance. That one is for certain. He's going to have land dominance too, as it is it's only 2 tanks to 1. I kind of thought it was 3 tanks there for Innovation, but with 6 Vikings, this might as well be infinity tanks to 1 here. It's just going to be so difficult for BYUN to really take an advantageous engagement. As realistically, he just won't have the vision. Now the Vikings are all going to land here. SCVs are going to get forced to be pulled here by BYUN, and at the very least, while this will not kill BYUN, it will do tremendous eco damage, because now the Vikings have landed, and Vikings absolutely shred workers. We saw the tank's not doing all that great of a job, but the Vikings are. But BYUN, though, he will be able to find, he does have stim here, so this tank will go on down. 11 workers have died, so now BYUN, he's 13 workers behind, but he will have 1-1 faster. And he does now have a 10-15 army supply lead. Granted, army supply leads matter a lot less in this matchup than they do in other matchups, because tanks are just such a powerful defensive utility. But they can pretty good offense be pretty good offensively too. As now Innovation will find these tanks, and oh, BYUN, you got to be careful. So yes, Innovation will be able to keep this alive, or more importantly, BYUN will. But Innovation will be able to keep himself alive by finding this push on out. He will be able to ward it off. And now BYUN's just gonna have to go back in that upgrade lead. It's not nearly as good as it once was. 2-2 will not be at the same level as 1-1 was. He's now the armory. It's a little bit slow. Combat shield's actually very slow as well. So while BYUN did have a brief upgrade lead, Innovation, he's very much in the driver's seat here in this game. The army supply lead, it's not there anymore. The worker lead, it's not as big as Innovation once had, but you know, he's gonna be happy at 70 workers. Anyways, and now, well, it's time for that fantastic portion of the game where the game just starts to explode. We're both at like 130, 140 supply. We have 1-1. Fourth base is going to get taken. And this is when multitasking, this is where positioning really comes to the fore. I mean, yes, positioning in TVT is important all game. But I mean, with 2 players as fast and mechanically skilled as BYUN and Innovation, they're never just doing one thing. They're never just trying to deathball across. I mean, sometimes they do, but more often than not, they're trying to make use of their combined strength to drop all over the map, to scout, to try to draw their opponent apart. And that's when this game gets really fantastic. That's when these games get really exciting indeed. Back for the best part. No, the best part is going to be the grand finals. This is going to go Bombo, but yes. BYUN versus Innovation TVT is certainly a fantastic series to watch. And look at this, we got a triple drop coming on in here. Yes, it's 4 medevacs, and really only a 2.5 drop. And yeah, BYUN will find this, so he's going to take an advantageous fight until everything drops and out. No big deal. But here's what has happened. right? Innovation has drawn BYUN off in an extreme extent. No, he's not going to go for it. I guess they're too many tanks sieged on up outside of the... Yeah, okay. All of BYUN's tanks sieged on up outside of the third base, so Innovation's not really going to be able to make that push happen, but Innovation's fourth base is so much faster than BYUN's. If you look at relative income, it has been Inno favored for just the last 5 minutes almost. And that burst up is, you know, when BYUN dropped mules and Innovation didn't. Solar did beat Bunny in the semifinals #1. It was Roach pressure against the Hellbat Marauder, and Roaches win that. So anyways, now the Vikings will be able to knock down one medevac, but not all of them. And note, I mean, Innovation is trying really hard to break BYUN here, and he's not being all that successful. Now look at this, BYUN, he's got his army across the map here. Tanks are going to try to siege on up, but the Marines are already on top of it. What a great counterattack here from BYUN. And oh, it's going to get even more because the rally is just not enough here. So medevacs are going to go down, the rally is going to go down, and BYUN, now he's going to find his way on into the third base. And yeah, Innovation was just so constricted here over the last several minutes. But BYUN is going to get so much out of this. This is actually game evening damage. What a move there from BYUN. He had 2-2. He has upgrade parity for the time being now. He only has armor on the way. He's not started attack. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. And eventually this drop will get cleaned on up. So Innovation does have a 20 supply lead, but the worker lead is not there anymore. The army lead was a lot smaller. This was so big there for BYUN, but Innovation, his army is still massive, and the tanks of BYUN are on siege. Innovation's gonna see that. He's gonna stim on top of the tanks. They're gonna siege just in time. And now we get the positional push. A positional push where actually BYUN does have an air lead. He does have a vision lead. That being said, though, BYUN has enough orbitals to make sure he gets the scans that he needs to survive this. Now BYUN with the flank coming on in. He's gonna get 1 tank, 2 tanks. And that means this is a far more defensive position here for BYUN, even if he does not have the bio count. BYUN does need to be careful though, because his 3-3 is far in arrears of Innovation, especially his +3 attack. So with that being the case, I mean, there's going to be a time where Innovation's Marines are just going to be so much better than the Marines of BYUN that it's going to have to be a turtling, but he's not BYUN. He's not going to be able to do that much else. Oh, but look at this Innovation. He's getting his drop on top of these tanks, but Innovation actually dropping just a little bit too early, and that's again BYUN. This is Fortress BYUN here. He's really not allowing Innovation to really get on any sort of a territory that BYUN does own. And yes, Innovation does have his 5th base on the way, but BYUN, he built 2 extra command centers. He has the ability to take a 5th base whenever he wants, assuming the macro does BYUN. But oh, look at this, BYUN now getting a bit aggressive here, and the tanks are not sieged. BYUN actually is going to have more tanks on the aggression than Innovation does, and he's going to cut off the primary 3 bases there from the rest. So with these tanks on up here, BYUN, he's posturing. A couple Marines are going to go on into the 3rd base, and now Innovation's going to try to take this fight, but it's against 4 tanks. That's not a fight that you can take, Innovation. Not really. Yeah, he's going to take 1 down, but that's going to be just about it. So the Marines in the natural getting so much damage here. The tanks are still alive. 12 workers do go down. The extra command centers of Innovation are getting delayed. And man, BYUN in the late game is showing such an understanding of this matchup. There was a time where this was by far BYUN's worst matchup. You were like, wow, BYUN, he's really good in the non-mirrors, but his just mirror matchup is not good whatsoever. But look at him today. He is absolutely stomping Innovation in the late game. These moves that he has made, these out-positioning of Innovation has been so good. And now he's got a massive income lead. He doesn't have a worker upgrade lead for the time being, but that's about to complete. He will have upgrade parity. And yes, Innovation is going on into the Raven style. But if we look at units lost here, BYUN has lost 4,000 less resources than his opponent. Bear in mind, it's about 16,000 resources to a base. So this is about a quarter base that BYUN has traded better than Innovation in a mirror matchup. That is absolutely massive. Now we will have the Marines here. They're going to go clean up these tanks. This 1 tank is very low, and you got to stim again BYUN. But yeah, now we've dropped on it into the 3rd. This 3rd base has just lost all of its workers so many times indeed. Oh, the tank didn't get cleaned. Oh no, BYUN wasn't really paying attention, so he cleans up one tank but not the other. That's a bit unfortunate. Okay, there we go. Now the tank will go on down. And you know what? Innovation, even if he did lose a lot of workers, and he has taken a pounding from the worker count in this game, he's still on 5 bases. All right, so we do. Innovation has Corvid Reactor, which means his Ravens start with a lot more energy. BYUN, he's going the double Raven style too, because this is late game TVT, but he's not started Corvid Reactor yet, which is rather surprising. All right, so one more Ravens on the way. Plus, we have mech armor on the way. So Innovation does have a massive mech upgrade lead at this point in the game. He has +3 attack. His opponent does not. And he's actually getting armor on the way, which is going to keep his tank safe. And more importantly, it's going to keep his Vikings and his Ravens safe. Because now we have BYUN. He's going to go for the disable here, which means tanks will die. And actually, BYUN, he's a little bit faster on the uptake. So he's going to get a better trade there. I thought. But apparently not. But now we're at that really cool portion of the late game where the game just changes dramatically again, right? In the mid game, it's all about positioning, or not about, I mean, it's always about positioning, but it's all about how fast you are. It's all about making the concaves doing whatever you want. But look at this Innovation. He's got the Raven flank, so all the tanks here from BYUN will go on down. And Innovation's going to take that fight with aplomb. And oh, he even disabled, I was wondering why the tanks weren't all disabled, but he disabled some of the Ravens too. Double the medevacs, double the fun indeed. Man, that is actually significant medevac differential there. 11-2. Huh. Yeah, now Innovations here is going to try to find the army of BYUN on the right-hand side. And we will only see, well, there we go. Now we have the disables coming on in. So more and more tanks are going to get taken on down. Meanwhile, BYUN on the left-hand side, he's found a couple undefended tanks. He's like, you're going to use Ravens to break that? I don't really care. I just drop on top of it. I got 3/3 bio, whatever. So BYUN now, he's getting pressure here on the bottom left-hand side, the 6 o'clock side. Meanwhile, again, Innovation, he's pressuring the upper right-hand side. Here's the difference, though. The 6 o'clock side is a base. The 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock position is not. This is pretty cool. BYUN has not gone into Corvid reactors, as honestly he can't afford it right now. But what he is doing, as he gets double Raven, double Viking, is he has 1/1 air on the way. Means he'll be able to take the air fight even if he maybe doesn't take the ground fight. And yes, his upgrades are later on armor, sure, but he does have the air fight going. And of course, the late game here, once you get your air fight going, right? If you win the air battle, you just get a couple Liberators, and you're gonna do such a good job of just pushing the Terran out of any position they want. Tank Liberator is just so powerful and does such a good job of dealing with any tanks on the opponent's side. So where are we at? We have 14 Vikings here for BYUN, 11 for Innovation, and BYUN's actually going to go up to 20. So he will win the air battle. That is pretty easy to say. These Innovations maxed out, and he's going to have to make a change if he wants to do something more than that. Now BYUN moving out on the middle of the map here. Innovation does have the scan on that, but again, the air battle here for BYUN is the terrifying thing. The air battle for BYUN is the scary thing, and Innovation looks like he wants to go into battle cruisers off of this. Both BYUN as well. So we're getting on into some truly late game TVT here in this first game of the series. It's actually kind of funny. I think this game may go longer than like than the first like 3 games of Solar versus Bunny combined. Which is always pretty cool. It's kind of cool to see how players adapt. So you want to talk about adaptations. Innovation has a lot more medevacs, but BYUN, he is like double the Viking count here of his opponent, and he's roughly equivalent on Ravens, 7 to 9. So Innovation really cannot take a fight. The Raven advantage is so strong, or the Sky advantage is so strong here for BYUN. Oh, there we go. Armor Shredder and Armor Shredder auto turret means that the Marines can't really fight. And the one thing I will say that's surprising is the fact that honestly, both players went, well, I guess you go 3-3. But I feel like half the time I see this happening, when you know it's going to go Sky Terran, and the Terrans just kind of avoid it, right? They just always say, okay, look, 2-2 is good enough. Let's just get into the Sky faster. But now we have the Sky fight coming on in. The Armor Shredder missile is going to be fantastic. And yes, the Marines are going to try to zone out these Vikings, but already BYUN is taking good trades. And he's been taking good trades this entire game, so that should not surprise anyone. Chevalier of the Skies. His name is BYUN. Yeah, sounds about right. And talking about Chevalier, though, all I can think of, I read a really fantastic web serial called The Wandering Inn. It's kind of a D&D-ish thing. It's really good. But anyway, there's a character's name is Chevalier Tomast, and that's all I think when I can think of Chevalier. I understand that it's an actual term and a classification of the nobility, or the military and the nobility. But anyway, that's all I can think of. As BYUN, once again, he's a little bit slower in upgrades. He was faster to 1-1, but his 2-2 is a whole hell of a lot slower. So what he's gonna lack in what he's lacking in upgrades, he's gonna hope to make up for in numbers. But we talked about that air lead. As we do see the wonderful patrol flower there from BYUN. It's not quite there anymore. It is 13 Ravens to 7, and it's only a 6 Viking lead, which might as well be an infinite Viking lead when there's an upgrade lead, but when there's not, or even upgrade parity, but when there's not, that's a little bit harder to tell. Does that make BYUN Snoopy? Or I'd argue Innovation's the Red Baron here because Innovation's in red. All right, successful successful Armor Shredder missiles on everything, and with the upgrade lead here, that does mean that Innovation's going to be in a better position to take this fight. But I love what both players are doing. BYUN, he's a little bit more diffuse on things, but we're just seeing missile turrets everywhere. We're seeing sensor towers everywhere. Both players kind of realizing that they need to make it impossible for their opponent to run across the map and get something done. And that is what we have here. We have just random planetaries. We have random command centers all over the map. As now BYUN will find this base. And with +3 in stem, he should be able to kill it even with the... oh, never mind. The army is going to rotate on it in time. And actually building armor is going to make a massive difference here, which is kind of funny. You don't often see that, but... Army composition. Okay, there. Actually, I hold that thought. We have a massive fight kicking on off here. Armor Shredders on the army of BYUN, but not the army of Innovation just yet. So this is a... We talked about trades. Now BYUN has a massive deficit that he has to contend with. He's down 10 Ravens. He's down 3 Vikings. And yes, he has more tanks, but tanks don't really matter in this game. Not anymore. It's all about the air battle. And BYUN does have a bank that he can come back from, but if we look at resources lost, it's a whole lot smaller. It's about 2,000. The gap is still a little bit smaller. It was 5k, now it's 3k. Innovation does have +3 armor just about done. Has not started +3 attack, so BYUN will have an upgrade lead eventually, but for the time being, this is not a Viking battle that he can take. So many Ravens, Tasteless. Indeed. I love it. Innovation, he still has like the majority of his medevacs. He still has 5. So he's gonna get medevac boost. Both players are like, oh, what can I buy? I'm rich. I'm mining the entire map. All right, so Hunter Seeker's going on it, or Armor Shredder Missile going on it on both sides. And once again, Innovation's going to get his damage done first, which means, especially with his upgrade lead, he's going to massively take the better fight here. And notice he's just targeting down the Ravens. He's like, look, your Vikings, they don't scare me. That's the Ravens that do. So the Ravens are getting targeted on down here. And once again, Innovation takes the better fight. So if we look at resources lost in that battle, Innovation killed a lot more. He got 500 more gas. He got 300 more minerals. And if this keeps going the way it is, I mean, we're going to see this resources lost meter balance out just a little bit. And it's really cool seeing how these players, where their strengths are. Bitterwood, Ravens and Crows are both Corvids. But Ravens are not Crows. Crows are not Ravens. And I'd hate to see you eat crow in the midst of a live broadcast, but Ravens are not crows. Even if they are in the same family, they're not the same species. Or genus, I guess. Same genus, but not the same species. But now we do have Innovation. Finally, he's going to get on into battlecruiser tech here. I mean, he has Yamato cannon on the way at the very least, even if there are no battlecruisers on the map. It's just a great big Viking fight. And it's all about who can take the better one. And considering that, well, BYUN does have a minor Viking lead, but he does not have an armor lead. He does not have an upgrade lead, excuse me. We just got sieges coming on us. We will see the planetary here from BYUN going down. And the one thing, I don't know, I've been saying that BYUN, it doesn't look all that great for him. Innovation does look good, and this is true, but BYUN does have a 5k, 2k bank. Innovation does not have nearly that level of a bank. We have the tanks. They're going to siege on up just a little bit, and 3-3 is now done here for BYUN, so we will be able to take this fight now in the air. Now the Marines on the ground are just a little bit of a mitigating factor that makes life difficult indeed. Now we have the fight kicking on off, and this is what we're looking at: 25 Vikings to 24, plus 3 to it's 3-2 or 3-3 to 2-3. But neither player really wants to take that fight because it's so hard to tell. Much like Meta Wars, so hard to tell who has more. Exactly. We're kind of hitting the point where I want to see BYUN get rid of some of his workers. He's on 61. But I imagine there are spots where he's just not mining all that efficiently. Yeah, 14 out of 8. 9 out of 10. Well, okay, so he can still move his SCVs over on the gap. Yeah, actually, you know what? He's still mining somewhat efficiently, I guess. Where are all of his SCVs? Huh. Now, Innovation is doing a very good job of just slowly bleeding off some of his SCVs, making sure that he is actually able to build this massive army. Yeah, this is honestly one of the coolest TVTs that I've seen in quite a while, and it speaks to the quality of the players. It's such a intellectual game, more than anything else. It's both players kind of realizing that on the romantic side, it's really hard to break your opponent, so they're just going to go to the next level and the next level and the next level. And I guess I'm somewhat surprised that Innovation has not gone battlecruiser. I mean, yes. Vikings are actually rather good against battlecruisers with the bonus damage to massive. The battlecruisers do such a good job of breaking a turtled opponent, right? Because you can teleport right on top of them. You can go do damage and teleport away. All of that fun stuff. So look at this. We have a bit of an asynchronous push coming on in here. BYUN trying to break the high ground base of Innovation, and Innovation doing the same to BYUN. But with these auto turrets, I mean, it's not really going to be all that effective for either player. And notice here, BYUN does have +3 mech attack on the way, so his tanks will be marginally better as he's getting literally every upgrade that he can think of outside of Corvid Reactor. But honestly, he's kind of given up on Raven Tech in this game. He only had 7, and well, those are from earlier on. He really hasn't been building them. He's just been building Vikings, saying, look, you know what? If I have the Vikings, if I have the air battle lead, if I have the air superiority, it doesn't really matter what else I get. And I suppose that's fair. Mini Yamatos on Vikings. That sounds like a Zerg just being very sad. Oh, there we go. Vikings are just going to land and immediately evaporate all of these tanks. Now they're going to go up to the sky. And you know what? The one difference, BYUN does have a significant Viking lead. We're just going to stay on this for the rest of the game, honestly. BYUN does have a significant Viking lead here, as actually, oh, he's got a massive lead, because look at this. The armor shredder, it hit most of his opponent's army before it hit all of his, and yes, he can't really fight over the auto turrets, but now the auto turrets are going on down, and what a move there from BYUN. He takes such a massive engagement. But at the end of the day, it's just about equal. BYUN, though, he does have a bank, and Innovation does not, and that's the story of the day here. BYUN 5K, 2K, Innovation 300 minerals. Yes, he's mining more, but actually he's mining a lot more. I was like, man, the minerals aren't going all that much. Why is that plus 750 ahead for BYUN? Maybe they're just not mining a lot whatsoever, but mules have now been dropped and the money is increasing. And BYUN now, just now, he's going six ravens at a time. And he's getting that Corvid reactor. Okay. All right, by the way, for context, our entire series number 1 just took a little under an hour. Our broadcast is just about done with hour 2, and it is primarily this game. That's always fun. We do have the break here from Innovation. Gonna go, once again, a couple more tanks will get disabled. And not even targeted down at first, but there we go. So Innovation now, he's the one that's pressuring on in here, but of course, we talked about this earlier. Neither player really just does one thing at a time. So BYUN, he's going to go siege on up the 6 o'clock, or the lower 6 o'clock position there for Innovation. But yeah, BYUN can't really take this fight for now. All of his tanks are disabled, so Innovation's going to get what damage he can, and that's going to be that. Now, we will see Innovation go on to the other side of the map here. And the one thing I will say, I would love to see BYUN just go on and repair all of this, because all of his Ravens are, all of his Vikings are very low indeed. But hey, BYUN got a base, and he's trading out a lot of tanks, and surprisingly enough, he's rebuilding a lot of them too. Yeah, Deathball comp indeed. It is 36 Vikings to 38, 13 Ravens to 20. Innovation's on 170 army supply. And now we get to see the whole question of, yeah, sure, BYUN, you've got a bank, but you're not a Zerg. You can't reinforce quite as quickly. We get to see whether the bigger army beats the bigger economy, because again, BYUN has a massive bank. Innovation doesn't. So we're going to see a couple auto turrets knock down these tanks here. And I'm really not sure how BYUN's going to be able to take this fight, because eventually Innovation, I mean, with 27 Ravens to 20, I mean, he's going to just be able to do the disable armor shredder push. And if we look at resources lost, it's now BYUN has lost about 1,000 resources more. Innovation showing real true mastery of this late game TBT in a way that I've really rarely seen. So the question I'm asking myself, and I'm sure the question that you are all asking yourselves as well, is how does this game end? How does one player break the other? Because yes, Innovation has a bigger army. Sure, he's got a 7 Raven advantage. That's massive. BYUN has a bit of a tank advantage, so his ground force is a little bit stronger, assuming it's allowed to fire. And he has a lot more money. That being said, I don't know how any player really breaks together with all of these missile turrets and all of these tanks and all the Ravens as well. How does the fight happen? How does BYUN break Innovation, or how does Innovation break BYUN? And is that enough? Yeah, that is a big difference indeed. Innovation has been repairing his Vikings, and BYUN has not. So there are a lot of damaged units here, but Innovation, his entire fleet, is totally repaired on up. We're kind of getting close to hitting that point where the map is getting mined out. So actually, let's take a look at that here. So let's see. Innovation, he has the upper right hand side base. He's 0 out of 10 on that one. Actually, this is just going to get taken down by a couple tanks. This has 2 mineral patches, and they're mostly gone. Well, one is mostly gone. One has about 800 minerals left. Fourth base, it's still got some, but not a lot. About maybe 1,000 minerals there. 6 o'clock base, it's somewhat fine still, but still running out. And other 6 o'clock base, probably the healthiest. So not a lot of mineral patches left here. And because this is a TVT with a lot of mules, they're going to run out faster. Innovation is down on 17 SCVs. Like, look, I got mules. As long as I can mine the gas I need, I don't really care. And that's fair. So he's getting up to like 183 army supply. That is massive indeed. As look at this, BYUN will be able, if BYUN can take this base from innovation, even if it is a 5 mineral patch base, is not 8. Well, oh, look at that. That was so cool. It didn't work. But just off screen, we saw innovation drop a mule on the tanks there of BYUN, attempting to force some friendly fire. Didn't work. But it was a pretty cool option. Now, if BYUN is going to be able to take this base from innovation, to secure that, and really maybe even start pushing innovation off of the 3 o'clock base, that's going to be massive. Because even if it is only half a base, that is a 1 base delta here. And in the context of this game, when this game is going split mount, everything is mining on out. If you can just mine more than your opponent in some way, that is so big. Now we do have the fight kicking off in earnest here. BYUN does have the Viking lead, and he does have the quicker resupply. But look at this, the army, the Marines of innovation. He still has like 14 of them. He's getting a lot. He's getting a lot done with this. But the auto turrets are now going to drop. These Marines, they should die. But man, those Marines at 38 minutes into this CVT, when it's pretty much been a Viking tank, they got so much done. But now we have a armor shredder missile going on in. An attempted armor shredder missile from innovation as well, but that will be unsuccessful. But look at this. I mean, these Marines, they killed 2 tanks. They killed off some missile turrets, and they killed off an orbital. Honestly, though, Solar was declared the champion by default because neither innovation nor BYUN could play another game after their first game. BYUN does have an extra base, and that is going to be massive for him if he's able to hold it. Even now, mining a decent, I mean, I imagine he's been muling this pretty heavily. Mining a decent amount out of this is massive news for him. So we will see. The Marines are going to try to break this. And it's really crazy how just powerful these a couple Marines are. To the point where BYUN's like, I should probably make some of my own. And he's not wrong. So we have a fight kicking off here. A lot of auto turrets are going to get dropped on top of all of these tanks. So that tank is dead. And also, well, BYUN can't really take the fight over all those auto turrets. But man, oh, look at this. Suddenly, BYUN has a massive, and I mean an absolutely massive Viking lead. He's up 10 Vikings. And if he's going to be able to take the fight here, that's going to be rather good because he had like 30 workers for quite a while. But he said, you know, to hell with it at this point. I'm okay with losing all my workers. I need to get that massive army too. But he's still going to have 6 less army supply than innovation. As I'm not, at this point, I'm not convinced the rest of this upper right hand side base is going to be mined from at all. It is the last, where is it's pretty much the last mining base on the map here. BYUN's about to mine out his side of the map. He's even mining the mineral wall.
Game paused.
I thought we were going to see Inu go on there and say, hey, is this a stalemate? But no, this game can still go on. This game is not over yet. And really, as someone said in chat, this is a matter of patience. Whoever loses patience first most likely loses this game because neither player can really attack on into the other. But this is really interesting from innovation. He has gone back into a rather significant Marine force. He has 36 Marines on the map. And that is going to do such a good job of, well, of dealing with all of these missile turrets that make it so difficult for innovation to fight. And it's kind of funny, in late game TVT, you think Marines are just about useless with the Ravens knocking down their armor by 2 and with the tanks there. Tactical GSL break, yeah. Oh, I love this from BYUN. He's just muling. He's like, look, if I can't take a base here, fine, whatever. I'm just going to mule it. So at the very least, even if I don't get the money, you don't get the money either, Innovation. And that's the biggest of deals. So this mineral patch is 1,000. There's 200 there, and we're going to have to see how much the rest does when we get vision of it once again. Or not. Okay. $61 Vikings to 46. If BYUN is able to win the air fight, and he should be able to. I mean, the Vikings just land on everything, and the 3-3 Vikings just land on everything and kill it. So I kind of like BYUN's army here, even if he does have marginally less army supply. If you look at army value, it is actually, it's a little bit cheaper on gas. I guess the Ravens. It is marginally. It's actually just about even in value, considering he's down supply. Not bad. And with the fight kicking off here, auto turrets are going to go on down, and this is the fight, ladies and gentlemen. The Vikings are fighting, the Ravens are fighting, everything is fighting here, and it looks like BYUN, the auto turrets are all down. How many Ravens do we have? 14 to 3. Never mind, it's not the fight. Actually, you know what? This is Innovation's win condition just a little bit. If he is able to just exhaust the Raven energy of BYUN before BYUN exhausts the Raven energy of Innovation, which he will because it's 14 Ravens to 3, maybe that's it, right? So you can take the -2 armor fight in the air when your opponent just doesn't have the energy for any more armor shredders. All right, so let's take a look at these mineral patches where we have the time. 520, 200, something like that. Anyway, not a lot left on this base, and BYUN is wholesale mined out everywhere else. Neither player has any gas, by the way. There is no gas. Is there any gas left on the map? No gas. Yeah, there's literally no gas left on the map here. Both players sitting at 82 gas. That's not enough for really anything. So that's why we just see mass marine production at the end of the day, trying to reinforce what they can. They both have decent mineral banks, but again, no gas. I really love what BYUN's doing here, and I'm surprised we don't see Innovation do the same. Yes, it's long distance mining, and maybe I might like to see a command center get dropped to like right where the tanks are or something. But man, what a treat this game is. SCVs are going to drop down a missile turret. Oh, the humanity there. Innovation, only 4 SCVs remain, and he's trying to get rid of all of them because he's not mining. I mean, I guess he kind of is on the bottom side, but that's all mules. So now we do the fight kicking on off, trying to knock down these tanks, but that will be unsuccessful. Marines are going to be able to clear these auto turrets, even if it does take them forever and a day. Best just to wait them run on out, but now Innovation, you're trying to get something on the other side. Knock down maybe some orbitals or something, maybe remove the scan ability. But now BYUN has the interior track, and he does have a much bigger Viking army, 60 to 36. And considering there is no gas left on the map, the air army of Innovation will continue to decrease, which is better and better for BYUN. Yes, Innovation can continue to build more Marines as he's on 71 Marines right now. But again, this game is all about the sky. Wait, where did BYUN find some gas? Oh, that's never mind. He didn't find gas. He's repairing his Vikings. That's why the gas is ever so slowly going down. I like that. Finally, he's repairing his Vikings. As we have wholesale long distance mining here, and Innovation's finally going to scan this. He's like, oh, you've been mining more than me this entire time. That's a bit of a problem. Some Marines, a couple of Marines are going to go down, trying to kill off these mules, but I mean, the mules have +3, right? They have a decent amount of armor as well, so it's going to be difficult indeed. And BYUN has pretty much spent his gas bank at this point. It is what it is. I mean, it was 76 gas. It was like 80 gas, but he's repaired as many of these Vikings as he can. And now Innovation, he has to go. He's kind of in a desperate spot here. He will never win the air fight, so he has to go win the ground fight. And if BYUN wins the air fight, he wins the ground fight too. So that's kind of where we are right now. Actually, yeah, we're not going to see production that's any relevance. It's just going to be Marines from here on out. So now BYUN's going to take the fight. A couple medevacs going down. armor shredder missile as well, and with the medevacs down, means these Marines are going to be even less efficacious here. Now, BYUN, let's actually be back here. BYUN does not have any medevacs, so that's a bit of a problem for him. But every time he groups that flower up, something dies. Honestly, I cannot believe how lucky I am that I get to cast this game. I just wish I had done a better job of going to sleep last night so I would be really awake for this. But even with this, I mean, what a game we have here today. We are 46 minutes in. Neither player really showing any signs of breaking. Innovation on 1 SCV, BYUN on 6. BYUN has the air lead. Innovation has the ground lead. And with the Ravens here, that's a significant ground lead indeed for Innovation. BYUN, he's going down to almost the rest of his gas is going to be spent on the last of these repairs on his Vikings. And it's just a bunch of posturing at this point. Neither player can really break the other. So what I would like to see is the Marines here of BYUN just go onto the bottom side of the map, right? Start knocking down command centers, start knocking down orbitals, doing what you can to cut down the mules of or not cut down the mules, cut down on the scans of Innovation more than anything else. Because now we have more missile turrets on the way. Missile turrets are free. Well, they're not free, but they're only minerals, and that is something that BYUN can afford in spades. And they, of course, they help him take the airfight even more. But Innovation attempting to close the noose here. I don't know how strong of a noose that is. Honestly, though, I think the next 4 games in the series, however this one ends, both players are like, are they gonna ask for a draw? I don't know what they're saying. I wish if someone speaks Korean, please let me know what they're saying. Are they gonna ask for? I mean, honestly, this is a game where neither player can really break the other. The map is now mined out. I think. Okay, there's just a little bit of minerals left. So now we have the Viking flower here and all the flower of scans. And again, I want to see BYUN move on into the left-hand side of the map, or the bottom side of the map here, trying to get something like that done. Really take advantage of the fact that it's difficult for Innovation to attack on into him, because the minute he attacks, he loses the air fight. Even with the armor shredder missile disadvantage, he loses the fight. And yeah, BYUN will continue to take this fight. More and more Vikings go on down, and once the Vikings die, the Ravens die, which means that the ground lead that Innovation has is not nearly as powerful. Now BYUN's gonna stim on forward here, gonna try to do what he can. Mules are gonna get dropped to body block? Are those manor mules or those body block mules? I mean, honestly, Matisse, this is a good excuse. This game is really one of the most technical TVTs I've seen in a good long year, and now BYUN is pushing. Now we're going to start to see the Ravens get used for a little bit more than armor shredders, and some tanks will die. And every gas unit, every unit that you got to pay gas for is so valuable here in this game. So now BYUN's going, he's pushing on in, but look at this. We got a flank setting on up here from Innovation. And I do like this indeed. Now Innovation doing what I was trying to get BYUN to do several minutes ago, maybe. Or maybe not. Never mind. But now we are starting to see some of these orbitals go on down, and they're not useful for mules. I mean, there is actually no mining here on the map. It looks like Innovation is like a couple mineral patches on the bottom. You know what? No, Innovation still has some minerals that he can mine. And so does BYUN. He can mine these 30 minerals right here. Come on, BYUN. You can mine a couple more minerals. You can do it. Innovation still has his mineral wall, which I think is like 150 total minerals, something like that. Wait, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 70 minerals, and then there are like a couple here for Innovation. He's dropping the last of his mules. 55 minerals a minute is the income. We're kind of getting to that point where we approach stalemate conditions just from the game, right? If no damage is done and nothing is mined, well, that is a stalemate indeed, but it doesn't look like we're going to hit the no damage condition here. Unless both players agreed to let that happen. At that point, I think Inu would just allow the game to end and we would remake. So we do have a push here on the right hand side. These SCVs are trying to kill a command center. Cute. Innovation saying, go, attack on enemy. But both players realize here with the tank counts and everything else, I mean, there's not a lot. BYUN can't push into Innovation. Innovation's ground army is superior. Innovation can't push into BYUN. BYUN's air army is superior. As they're saying something about a 3-0. Don't really know what that's about. Again, if anyone speaks Korean in chat right now, please let me know. But yeah, this is Behemoth losing his sanity in a game. But oh, the Raven, oh, what a good flanky Raven. So now Innovation, he's going on in for the break. He says that I've had enough here. This is more than enough. Only 2 tanks here from BYUN remain. They are not sieged on up. But look how low all the Marines are. Yeah, BYUN's Marines are just a little bit higher in health, and they do have the concave. So the air fight is being won here by BYUN, but the ground fight has been won decisively by Innovation. But if we look at the bank here, BYUN, he has 4K left. He can rebuild. He has the technology. So in the time it takes for Innovation to try to go on in here and get something done, we will have more Marines on the map. The question, though, is whether Innovation will be able to find the production before BYUN finds the army. So the Vikings, the Ravens, they're all running back. How many Ravens? We have 1 Raven to 0. And BYUN, he's gonna mine. Wait, were those Innovation mules? Yeah, BYUN will mine. Oh, they were at. Come on, BYUN, you gotta mine that. But pretty cool mule body block there to trap some of the Marines. And now both players. That command center is burning, and it will never be repaired in this game. It was set to burning by 3 SCVs. In the annals of things that you have never seen. Well, that's one of them. Now it looks like the game is actually just about to end here, as now BYUN will take the air fight. But anyway, I was gonna say, someone should post this on Reddit. Like, this is the most insane TVT that I've ever borne witness to. And yes, I saw Innovation Tasia. This is such an epic TVT that I'm glad you're all here to watch it with me, but more people need to see this. So it's probably too late now. The game is probably closer to ending, and I think it is BYUN's game at this point. He has the ground lead, he has the air lead. He doesn't have any tanks left, so that's something. And it's actually going to be difficult for him to push on into the planetary, but both players, they've spent their mineral banks. Innovation is 30 minerals. How did he, oh, where did he get those 5 minerals? Oh, I guess he's getting it from the, is he finally doing it? Okay, so Innovation, Innovation is 240 minerals here that he is not opting to mine. He really should be doing that. That is 24 Marines that he could afford that he cannot right now. I'm sorry, not 24 Marines. That is 12 Marines. No. Sorry, 48 Marines? Is that the math? I can't do math. It's fine. Never do math on stream. Yeah, I think that's 48. No. Anyway, we do have the bio coming on in here. What a flank here from BYUN. Yes, there is an armor shredder missile, but it's not going to be enough. And finally, just finally, BYUN, he lands the Vikings. 55 minutes, and we will not see an hour in this game, but this is going to be it. Innovation with the question mark. Is that all you got? Yes, BYUN. That is all that BYUN does have, but it is more than enough. The army of Innovation is dead. It is dying. There's nothing more that Innovation can do. This is it. GG, even if Innovation, he's going for that fantasy GG timing. There is nothing more that he can do, nothing more than he can make. The bank is broken. And it is, honestly, 240. But by the way, that is 4 and almost 5. That's 5 Marines, not 48. That math was totally wrong. Yeah, I'm an hour into this game. I'm tired. Please pardon my mental math. There we go. The mules are going to get landed here. BYUN stealing the minerals here of Innovation says, you don't get to do this anymore. Why are you? Get out of my game. And honestly, that's a good question. I'm not sure why Innovation's still in this game. maybe he overestimates what he has or underestimates what BYUN has, or maybe this is just a matter of he's like, look, I don't think you can break my planetaries, and if that's the case, well, this will be a stalemate. Oh, we have the flower going on down. Innovation. Oh, the salt on this man. That is actual. This is a little crazy. It may just be a game where BYUN can't kill the planetaries, and if that's the case, this is a stalemate. Even if BYUN did win the army fight. I mean, let's see. So Vikings do very good against mechanical units. But again, okay, so we're going to see how quickly this does go down. Nice. Look at the micro there from BYUN. So he will knock down one planetary fairly easily. How many planetaries do we have on the map? There are 4. And BYUN needs to keep at least one Viking alive in the off chance that innovation decides to float. So this becomes a little bit trickier. Actually, well, BYUN, he was able to mine enough minerals for one more marine. So now we will have the scan going on in. The Viking micro, making sure that he doesn't lose too many. Second planetary is down. And he still has the same Viking count, even if a lot of them are in the red now. What I don't know is whether BYUN can take the fight against the Vikings and the planetary on the ground. Now the Vikings are going to run on in. We're going to have to find out here as the Vikings look to take the fight. The Marines as well. The Vikings will be able to knock the planetary down. Most of them are still alive, and the Vikings are going down. Innovation on literally 4 supply, and that is it. The planetary is dead. GG. BYUN takes game number 1. But no pressures. BYUN opening with a double barracks opener, but it's double barracks in his base. So this double barracks Reaper, this is yeah, I don't have a cereal bar actually. I have I made a lot of fajitas, and it's very tasty. Yeah, this will be double Reaper play here from BYUN, and again, we're gonna see that aggression. The rest of this series, I gotta assume, is not going to be nearly as long, as neither player wants to repeat of that one, where so many things factor on into that, and it is such a test of skill, but also it's kind of a test of luck. You rather boop sushi so I can be gifted sushi. I mean, I'm not hungry yet. I'm doing fine, but if we get another couple more hours, we will hit lunchtime. And I'll either have to, like do a cooking stream, bring my laptop. Yeah, look fit on camera. But maybe I just go do a cooking stream. I take my webcam and I take my take a laptop into the download NDI and move on into the kitchen and while I make some eggs or something and still cast the game. But anyway, so the Reaper fight, yeah, this is still double Reaper here from BYUN. This is a lot of Reapers, and I apologize, I kind of missed the previous Reaper fight, but that is something that Innovation did win, which was surprising considering the Reaper lead. So, this is going to be a good fight here for BYUN, though, as he will be able to get on top of this. The Hellions are on in here, so this is absolutely going to be disastrous here for Innovation. Well, it's not as bad as I thought. 3 Reapers for 3 Reapers and a Hellion, but again, there are more Reapers where that came from. Now, the Reapers, they have to sit outside of the range here. They have to run from this Hellion indeed, because they have not regened enough just yet, but now they have. And are you ready for a Reaper Hellion all-in? Because that's what's happening here. Iloris, you say that, but I'm very excited because I bought into a crop share agreement that starts next week. Should have started this week, but we got snow 2 weeks ago, so we kind of slowed things down. But now the Reapers are going to dive on into the main base. Innovation has literally nothing on the map here. He's got a Cyclone, sure, but the Reapers should be able to beat that one down. And it's starting to get a little bit problematic here for Innovation. Actually, no, with the Marines here, they will force, well, the Reapers and the Hellions will be forced back. BYUN, he's down 3 workers. He's up an army just a little bit, but down in tech. And now we have a Viking on the way. Not a Viking, a Banshee on the way with personal cloaking. But now here the mineral line has been saturated, and that means that there is there is worker damage potential indeed. Only 2 workers though, and that is not going to equalize the damage just yet. But now that Cyclone is going to get jumped upon here, it should go down, and yeah, it can kite all at once, but it's going to get backed on into a corner. No one puts baby in a corner. Well, certainly BYUN does. Is a couple more workers go down, but not as much as I thought. And innovation will hold. My PhD research is in robotics. Not Protoss robotics, but Terran robotics, technically. Which is actually kind of fun because Alaros is doing similar stuff. I think she's more, human-facing robotics, and I'm more field robotics. I'm working on some stuff right now. I got a meeting later today, and I got some meetings tomorrow and next week, talking with a bunch of people in the sea ice field, trying to build some Arctic robotic applications. But yeah, this Raven, oh no, this Banshee is gonna go down. BYUN. Or innovation, I guess, please. 2 HP remains on the Banshee. Now, it didn't get anything done, and BYUN has committed a lot to this aggression. He's not gotten nearly enough done, so innovation, he's in a pretty happy position, but I'm worried, friends. Innovation was in a pretty good position in the mid-game too last time, and it didn't work out. The game went an hour. It's another big map. Oh no. More 3D printed. Yeah, there we go. And I developed a control system for a 3D printer once, and I only to find out that the model that I had used, that I lifted off of someone's paper, was inaccurate. And it was uncontrollable 3D print model. So we just couldn't do anything with it. Like, we could only control the Y-axis and not the X-axis, which was really dumb. But it was a theoretical controller, right? This wasn't applied to an actual 3D printer. So it wasn't like I could model it myself. Have fun, Unknown. Make sure to, hey, just put this up on your phone. And now we do have the push here from Innovation. He has a 3 army supply lead, but more importantly, he has a Raven lead. And that means this army from Innovation is 10 times better than the army of BYUN, strictly because he can disable the tank, and he has a 4 tank or a 3 tank advantage right now. Oh, there we go. Explosions. Loud noises. Substantive commentary, all of these things that we wish we had, but we don't, as the Banshee will go down as well. And now with the 4 tanks here, this is a scary push here for Innovation indeed. BYUN now down 30 supply all of a sudden. He's at half the army supply of his opponent, but the tanks will be disabled, which will of course allow Innovation to keep moving on in. And BYUN already preemptively pulling the SCVs here. Yeah, this is gonna be very difficult for BYUN to stop. Now the tank leapfrogging on in once again. BYUN trying to take advantage of the tanks on siege to maybe make something happening, but with the Marines and the Vikings here, game number 2 is gonna end in 8 minutes. Thank goodness. Here we are, spawning in the upper right in the red. He is, of course, representing Kites of Gaming, taking game number 2 in much quicker fashion than he lost game number 1. Give it up for Innovation. And his opponent in the bottom left in the blue, he is representing the Shopify Rebellion. Can he take the series? Who are we going to see in the finals? He is BYUN. I mean, hey, Alaros, that is further than I have gotten. I mean, I've written a master's thesis, but it honestly wasn't publishable. My thesis director wanted me to get it to a publishable position, but honestly, that was just work I did to finish my thesis, and I'm not interested in it at all. So I might go back to it someday, but not for a while. Certainly, as we do have Proxy Reaper here on the map from Innovation. It's going to be 1 base Proxy. Oh, never mind, Proxy Marauder. I apologize. Proxy Reaper and TVT is two barracks. This is 1 barracks, and I think I was right here. Yeah, game 1, it's an hour long, and both players are like, ah, to hell with an hour long game. Like, we don't want to do that again. Let's get a little bit cheeky, a little bit cheesy. As BYUN is going 1-1 into expand, which I don't know how I feel about it, right? Because on the one hand, yes, he does have more production structures before he does start that expand, but it's going to be Reaper Hellion, which is pretty abysmal against Marauders, and because BYUN is not SCV scouted, he's not aware. Oh, this is going to be even more all in. Pretty cool. Honestly, that was pretty much it. I'm like, I had some very specific use cases, and we were like, oh yeah, here's all my data. It works out. It's fine. We're just going to ignore the edge cases. That it's because it was not robust enough nearly. Cool idea, but certainly not robust enough. But now, okay, with the SCVs getting pulled here, nice micro from BYUN. We'll be able to keep all of these SCVs alive, but here's the thing, concussive shells is not done yet. So that's going to be a problem once the concussive shells do finish, but we already have Marines on the way, a bunker on the high ground, and this doesn't look like it's going to work for innovation at first. Granted, he does have his factory just about done, and he will be able to start some tanks here, and this the Reaper will not get tagged. Okay. We got a proxy starport as well. This is a proxy 111. I love it. You love it. You love to see it here. As the Raven will, wow, it's not a Raven. It's the Reaper will find his way on into the main base. No worker damage yet. And with the Marauder, well, that's a dead Reaper. Trying to get as much as he can, and he will get one SCV, so that's nice. BYUN does now have a 2-worker lead, but it's all about whether he can make the hold. As look at this, innovation is just gonna have permanent high ground vision. I mean, this barracks is like never gonna die. So the tank here is sieging up on the high ground. We'll get the first shot actually, and the second shot. Oh, actually no, that was splash damage. But anyway, the tank is starting to go on down. The Marauder's still alive for the time being, but this is not Liberator pressure. This is Viking pressure, which does provide high ground vision, but that was something that innovation already had. Now the tanks are going to look for the break here on the high ground, and the SCV just looking to tank shots. So the tank goes down. Marauders will go down as well, and the Vikings will win this fight. The Viking should win this fight. There we go. Yeah, got the first shot off with the Marines on the ground. This is a push from innovation that will not work at the end of the day. So BYUN, he's got his main base or his natural getting started here. And once again, both players, they're too good to die to cheese. Even if that happens, they're too good to die to it. So the game goes on. And you know the best part about a game like this? Because both players, because innovation did go aggressive early on, that meant BYUN didn't expand all that fast. Neither player's economy is all that developed. Neither player's tech is too developed. I mean, they have 111 on each side, but that's about it. With that being the case, realistically, this game is going to be, to hit the times, this game is going to go even longer. But now BYUN, he's going to go for the break here. With the 3 tanks, he's going to be able to make that happen easily. Although he will lose 2 of his tanks as well. But yeah, this is going to be the break here rather easily. And with the Marines on the map, but yeah, this barracks will eventually get pushed on back. But there are more tanks on the way here from innovation, and he has 3 racks behind this. So yes, he's expanding, but I think he's going for all in round 2 sooner rather than later. And with his additional Banshee, with his additional Viking count, he's winning that fight. So now innovation is just going to land on top of the tank. The tank goes down, but the tank of Inno also not dying. Wow, it's down on 4 HP, so it's just going to die now too. The Vikings fight in the air. The Vikings fight on the ground. Honestly, this has this series has series of the year in the making. Honestly, though, like we talk about Tageover's innovation is the best TVT. And it probably still is, the flanks and everything. But if we just talk about like epic scale of this series, of the different strategies that get played, game number 1 by itself was insane. And now we have all these really interesting styles coming on in. Innovation trying to break BYUN here because he says, look, I don't want to play another hour-long game. I don't feel all that confident. Look at this, the starport will get taken down as it was set to burning. So the factory will find its way back, but what do we have? We have 1 tank from innovation back at home, and actually the factory is going to get found, so maybe that's going to get set to burning too. Yeah, you really need to sleep healthy. Yeah, I feel that one. Although, I mean, it's my daytime. But anyway, we do have the Vikings now. They're going to go across the map here for innovation. He's going to look for some worker damage because, of course, Vikings shred everything. But is the factory going to go burning? That's the big question here. And it looks like Spearlet will be saved in time. Now the Vikings are going to land on into the main base here of BYUN. How much damage are they going to get? Not a lot. There's a tank. Okay, SCVs are going to get pulled. I don't think BYUN lost a single worker there. There we go. Yeah, I don't think BYUN lost a single worker there. Actually, this will tell me. Nope, nothing. Okay. We do have +1 stim combat shields on the way here for innovation. BYUN much further behind in this. But now he's going to get the tech lab. Oh, he's going to get combat shields. He won't get stim, I don't think. But with this concave here, he's actually going to get a decent... He can fight these Marines for a somewhat... for a brief period of time. And I honestly, he's not going to... with him taking this fight like this, I wish he was just targeting down the SCVs. He's honestly, otherwise... I mean, he was going to lose that fight to Marines, but he gets the tech lab. He does delay combat shield. Does not delay stim, though. And stim is now done. Wait, what? I guess combat shield finished right before he killed the tech lab. Yeah, I was kind of convinced that it was. So yeah, innovation right now has a massively superior Marine army. Like, it's not even a question, right? He has +1, he's stim, he's combat shields, and he has more of them as well, as far as I can tell. Yeah, he's double the Marines, and they are that much more powerful. But BYUN, he's going to look for a push here, and he's tank sieging up on into things. GG. Wait, was he losing stuff on the other side of the map too? No, he wasn't. He just lost the fight. Okay. So both players going 1-1 into a third command center off the double gas opening. And while we haven't seen it a lot this series, this has been kind of the de facto build that Terrans have been going for in TVT for just a bit of time. It's better. It's a little bit better than gas first, but also you get more stuff than a Reaper expand. Yes, your command center is slightly delayed, but it's like a middle of the road setup. Now it might be Blackburn, it might have been Oxide and that were vetoed. I don't remember. I will check after this game, but I believe it is Oxide. So yeah, for the first time in the series, we do have truly mirrored builds, and this is where things get a little bit interesting, right? This is, I don't know if I want to call it the truest test of skill, because I mean, there are many vectors to skill in StarCraft. There's game sense, there is tempo control, there is map control, there is micro, there is macro, there are build orders to some extent. I mean, some players are very good at coming up with build orders, and that's how they win games. There's series planning. There's a whole bunch of different things, but this is probably the truest test of pure game mechanics that we will see. As interestingly, BYUN, he's going for Widowmine to make sure that the Reapers, when they dive on in, they won't be all that successful. Or Hellion dives in, we'll get taken out, something like that. And behind this, yeah, we are starting to see some deviation. BYUN, he gets his starport just a little bit faster, actually a lot faster, because innovation did opt to go for a Cyclone instead of a Widowmine, which meant there had to be a faster tech lab on the factory, which meant starport was a little delayed. So we're already seeing slight deviations and variations in how this game is getting played. Now we do have a drop here coming out from BYUN here on the left-hand side of the map. What is in that? That's probably Reaper, Hellion, Marine. Yeah. And this is actually going to get found immediately. So the Hellion's gonna, or the Cyclone's going to get a lock on. Actually, no, it won't. But you almost got that Hellion or that Cyclone. We'll back on up. Says, yeah, I don't want any of that. Doesn't really want to lose these army units this early on. So it's just going to posture out. But realistically, innovation has a tank. Not really going to be able to break innovation at this point. Gotta love it. So I set my desk to standing once again because that's useful. And I managed to push my chair into the proper standing position anyways. So I just get up and my chair's already moving. Wow, apparently I'm just that skilled. But really what we're looking at here is how does this game develop, right? Innovation will have a Marine lead. He does have +1 on the way. BYUN doesn't even have an E-base started. So that is something that Innovation will have going for him. I think this means that that BYUN's probably going to take a quicker third than Innovation is. Yeah, there we go. So third base on the way. Innovation looks like he wants to maybe hit closer to a 2-base timing. How many barracks does he have? He has 3. He goes up an additional 2 barracks. That will be, in fact, 2-base all in. But BYUN, he's going to look to posture out on the map here. At the very least, figure out what's happening from Innovation. The most, getting some damage done. And there we go. There's BYUN's third barracks on the way. So he even cut his 3rd racks to get his 3rd command center up faster, which means he's not going to have as much production for quite a while, even if he was up in army supply for a little bit. But he's got this drop coming on the left-hand side. There are 2 tanks, there are 16 Marines, and there's a Raven. So he's just going to be able to burst on in there. He's going to say, hey, look, Innovation, your entire army's in the main base. Oh, look at that. The scan is going to draw Innovation on into the natural. And now BYUN gets his drop on off. And with this Raven here, it is going to be so damn hard for Innovation to break this. Actually, auto turrets are just going to get dropped. Okay, but the tank shots are going to be strong indeed. But now Stim is done. +1 is not yet done yet, and Innovation will be able to clean all of it up. The Raven is going to get targeted down as well. And, well, as good as that looked for BYUN, and honestly, I thought he had a good shot there. If he disabled the tanks, it's not going to be enough. Stim is done for both players, but now +1 is done for Innovation as well. Combat shields are on the way. And yes, he does have a 3rd base behind this, but this is a build that is incredibly reminiscent of what players play in TVP, right? It is 3 barracks pressure into a delayed 3rd, and we're going to have to see whether BYUN has what he needs to defend it, especially after losing 2 tanks in the Raven in the previous minute. When did what tournament had BYUN playing against Cure today? We do have Innovation here. He's posturing, and BYUN says, okay, you know what? Back on up into the main base. Like, I can't really take that fight right now. Or more of he's like, okay, Innovation, what are you doing? So he does already have most of his army loaded on up into medevacs. So he will be able to unload it roughly the same time. And with the defender's advantage, he should be able to make this defense happen. But again, +1 is a powerful thing indeed. But it's not going to be enough here. BYUN will be able to clean up the Doom Drop of Inno, much like Inno cleaned up the Doom Drop of BYUN. And now BYUN, he's in a decent spot, but look at this. Marines are going to stim on into the natural, knocking down a Viking at the very least. And this is damage. This is the true damage that Innovation was looking for. He's now at 5 workers, and his 3rd base is just about done. BYUN, of course, was forced to lift his for a while. So it's not even like BYUN is reaping the benefits of this quicker 3rd base. I mean, yes, he was able to build a couple more SCVs, but considering he's down 3, that's not really all that impactful. That'll be the Army of Innovation. He's going to stim on, and he's got a 10 army supply lead. He still has an upgrade lead. And he's going to look to just target down this command center just like that. It's going to go low. It's going to low. It's burning. It's burning. It's the repair. Good enough it is. But now Innovation, he's going to find the army. He's going to take that fight. And with the scan, the tanks are going to go on down here. This concave from Innovation is dynamite indeed. And yes, upgrades are in parallel now. But it's a 13 army supply lead. The base is burning, which means BYUN has to spend money on repairing the base instead of building more army or building anything else. Innovation's taking his 3rd. Innovation taking a pole position here in this game, saying, look, I think I'm better as long as I don't let you get to 60 minutes. And I think that's probably fair. Not wanting to let your opponent to get to 60 minutes is a pretty fair sentiment, all things considered. So Innovation just with a relentless pressure here in this game. He is only going for +2. Right now he only is on 1 eBay for the time being, so that does mean that BYUN will eventually have a 2-2 versus 2-1 advantage for a brief period of time because we do have the 2nd eBay on in now. But now we got a Doom Drop on into the main base here. There is 1 tank here. Innovation should just stim on top of that and kill it. But he won't. But now the tanks are sieged on up. SCVs are going to have to be pulled to defend this. Meanwhile, it looks like BYUN on the other side of the map has a good drop coming on in for him as well. But this drop from Inno is getting a whole lot more done. 16 workers have died. And this drop looks like it's getting cleaned on up. Well, you know what, 9, 10, if he gets like 10, 11 workers here. Okay, he's gonna get 9. I was gonna say, if he gets a somewhat equivalent amount of workers for like a third of the investment and doesn't lose any of it, that's gonna be pretty nice for BYUN. But he's down, what, 21 workers? Another Alpha X event, okay. I don't know how Sushi keeps on top of things. It's hard. There's never-ending StarCraft. Someone told me this was a dead game, but considering how hard it is to even just schedule things, I'm not convinced. Kind of funny in TVT when we watch things like this where one player has a fairly significant income lead, and for a while we don't really see it manifest in any sort of tech lead or supply lead outside of, you know, the worker supply lead in and of itself, but really not an army supply lead, which you would expect it to. But really that's just because of how the Terran production scales. And what it means is, what this eco lead really means is BYUN can't afford as many production structures, right? He can't afford to say build Vikings and a bunch of Marines at the same time. So eventually we will start to see this supply lead snowball, because again, the production structures for a Terran are expensive, and the bases for a Terran are expensive. So that is really where innovation is putting his money towards. But BYUN now does have a single upgrade lead, which means his Marines will fight a lot better. That is only for a brief period, and now +3 is on the way for both players, and +1 mech attack on the way as well. So we're talking about how players are spending their money. Innovation and BYUN have the same army supply, but Innovation's gonna have far better tech over the time being. Innovation with the drop here on the left-hand side. SCVs are going to have to be pulled to defend it, and that means more SCVs will go on down. But I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's only 6. And BYUN, he's looking to posture here on the right-hand side. He should be able to knock this base down. Should be able to force a cancel there. But I like this from Innovation. He's going for Liberators out of this, and considering that he will always have the air fight because he has gone for Vikings and BYUN hasn't, that's going to be fantastic indeed. It's going to negate the one mitigating factor that BYUN does have, right, where he is on more tanks than his opponent. But if you get Liberators, well, not a whole lot you can do there. Innovation returning with his drop between his legs. 1 Marine in each medevac, and 1 medevac very sorely wounded. But look at this at the end of the day. Innovation with his delayed +2 and BYUN with his delayed +3. They're going to have 3-3 at just about the same time. Oh, look at this move from Innovation here. Trying to preempt where BYUN will defend, will retreat to, and cut him off at the knees. So now look at this. Innovation's going to stem on in. 1 tank's going to go down. 2nd tank's going to go down. What a masterful move from Innovation there. As this is a full-on flank, BYUN's going to have to pick up and leave. And we talked about supply leads not really showing. Now they are. 30 army supply lead here for Innovation, as he does have his 4th command center on the way. It was canceled on location, but he was able to rebuild. And with all of those tanks of BYUN going down as well, that tank lead that he had, it's not there anymore. But BYUN, he's got a concave of his own here. Tanks are going to start to go on down as well. All of the tanks of Innovation should die, but he's got the bio. He's got the bio lead, 114 supplied to 43. GG. Innovation versus Solar will be your finals.